Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching this, like and subscribe. Evan Rhodes never considered himself the type of guy who'd sign up for a mail-order bride, especially not an alien one. But humanity had changed since first contact. Trade wasn't just materials and technologies anymore, it was people. Arranged interspecies marriages had become normalized, a way for different governments to secure peace treaties and economic bonds. Evan wasn't political. He was a lonely mechanic living outside the colony city of New Horizon on Mars. So when the message came that his matched partner would arrive in 3 days, he cleaned his house, rehearsed greetings in 3 alien languages, and tried to ignore the panic in his chest. Her name, Aelia Vos species, Valari, a warrior race feared for their strength and luminous skin. Reason for match, cultural bond, non-military civilian exchange. That sounded harmless enough. But then the shuttle landed. Evan waited in the docking bay, heart pounding. He imagined someone regal, confident, maybe even cold. Instead, 2 armored escorts dragged a woman down the ramp. Taller than him, ethereal, silver blue skin dim like a fading star. One eye swollen shut, dried greenish blood down her jaw, wrists bound with suppression shackles. Evan froze. This wasn't a political gift. This was a prisoner. The guards shoved her forward. Sign here, one officer grunted, pushing a datapad into his hands. Property transfer. She's yours. Property. Evan's stomach twisted. Hold on, why is she hurt? Why is she restrained? Standard procedure, the officer replied. Valeria dangerous. You try shipping one across space without breaking a few bones. Aelia tried to stand straighter despite the pain, her single visible eye burning with wounded pride. I am not dangerous, she whispered. Unless threatened. Evan's hand clenched. He signed, because leaving her with them would only mean more suffering, and stepped between her and the soldiers. I'll take care of her now, he said firmly. The guards laughed as they returned to their ship. Good luck, Earthboy. Try not to get killed on your wedding night. The shuttle blasted off, leaving dust and silence. Alia's knees buckled. Evan caught her gently. You're safe, he promised. I'm not like them. Her voice cracked. No man says he is. Beginning, a promise made. Evan brought her to his home, a small but well-kept habitat dome on the outskirts. Inside, she waited silently while he fetched medical supplies. When he returned, she stared at him with wary confusion. You will treat me yourself? She asked. Yes, he said softly. Do humans mend what they own? Her tone was bitter. I don't own you. Her eyes flashed, surprise, doubt, hope all tangled. He removed the suppression cuffs first. Her breath hitched, but she didn't stop him. Then he cleaned her wounds, slowly, respectfully. She winced at every touch, but never complained. He noticed lash marks across her back and arms. Who did this? He asked. Aelia looked away. My commander. For dishonor. What dishonor? She hesitated, then, I refused to fight. I refused to kill for them anymore. So they traded me away, to hide their shame. A soldier who refused war. A gentle warrior, punished for mercy. Evan's heart broke a little. You're not a shame, he murmured. She stared at him, stunned, as if she'd never heard such a statement in her life. Middle, hearts that learned to trust. Days turned into weeks. Aelia healed, physically, at least. At first she slept on the floor, refusing the bed. She barely spoke, flinched at sudden sounds, hid her tears. But Evan was patient. He cooked meals she could tolerate, showed her how to tend the gardens outside, introduced her to his old dog, Rusty, who instantly adored her, tail wagging like a turbine. When she finally laughed at Rusty's goofy antics, Evan nearly dropped a tool from shock. You have a beautiful laugh, he said before he could stop himself. Aelia flushed faintly, a shimmering glow rippling over her skin, the Valari equivalent of blushing. You embarrass me, she muttered, but she didn't stop smiling. Their bond grew, not romantic at first, just 2 broken hearts relearning trust. But tension simmered quietly beneath everything, a feeling that something was still very wrong. One night, while Evan slept, Aelia crept into his garage, studying the sky, fists clenched. They will come for me, she whispered. They always do. Evan heard her. Then they'll have to go through me. She turned, shocked. You would fight the Valari Empire for a woman you barely know. Not just a woman, he said. You. Aelia stepped closer, searching his eyes. No human has ever chosen me, she whispered. He swallowed. Then I'll be the first. She reached out, fingertips brushing his cheek. A spark of warmth ran through him. For the first time, she leaned her forehead gently against his. A warrior's gesture of trust. But the peace shattered with a warship screaming through the atmosphere. The conflict, secrets unleashed, the ground trembled. Evan grabbed Alia's hand. Go, hide. No, she said, straightening, power returning to her stance. I will not run again. A squad of Valari soldiers stormed his property. Their commander, armored in obsidian, removed his helmet. His eyes held cold triumph. Aelia Voss, you thought you could escape your duty. She stepped forward, chin raised. My duty is to life, not SLA. Yuta, silence, he snapped. You shame our people. He noticed Evan, and sneered. You let a human touch you. Disgusting. Evan stepped protectively before her. She's not your property, or anyone's. The commander's lip curled. You speak boldly for a weak species. Evan's adrenaline surged. Fear burned away. Weakness isn't in strength. It's in cruelty. The Valari soldiers laughed. The commander raised his weapon. Human, you are irrelevant. He fired, but the shot ricocheted off a sudden shimmering shield. Aelia, protecting Evan. Power crackled around her, brighter, stronger than he'd ever seen. You will not harm him, she growled. You defend this dirt creature. The commander snarled. Aelia stepped fully into warrior stance, posture regal, terrifying. I defend my bonded partner. She declared it loud enough for the heavens. The soldiers froze. Bonding, in Valari culture, was sacred. Unbreakable. More binding than marriage. A warrior could only bond once. The commander hissed. Impossible. You cannot bond with a human. She smiled, fierce and beautiful. I already have. Suddenly, her skin ignited in radiant starlight, the true Valari warform. The suppression shackles had hidden her potential, but love had awakened it. She leaped, a blur of light and fury, knocking soldiers aside like ragdolls. The commander lunged at Evan, but Evan swung a wrench full force into his helmet, stunning him. Aelia seized the commander and slammed him to the ground. Yield, she demanded. Never, he spat. Sir Aelia spoke a warrior sentence. You are unworthy of command. She snapped his weapon and threw him at the soldiers' feet. Tell them I am free. The soldiers stared at their defeated leader, shocked. One stepped forward, bowed to Aelia, and said, We will report this, bonding. The Empire must decide. They retreated, dragging the unconscious commander. Truth, and a dangerous future. Evan's breath shook. Aelia approached slowly. You saved me, she whispered. He laughed breathlessly. You literally fought an army for me. She smiled, placing her hand over his heart. You showed me freedom. You chose me, not for war, but for life. Their bond pulsed, a warmth between their chests. Evan cupped her face gently. So what now? Aelia looked at the stars, calm but resolute. War may come. The Empire will not accept my choice easily. Evan stepped beside her. Let it come. Humanity stands with you now. She blinked, stunned by the confidence in his voice. You believe in us that much? She asked. He brushed a strand of silver hair from her eyes. Yes, I believe in you. Her chest glowed brighter, and she leaned in, lips brushing his softly at first, then deepening, fire and tenderness entwined. A promise sealed, not an arrangement, not a treaty, a love worth fighting for. Ending, love that starts a revolution. Weeks passed. The news spread like wildfire. A Valari warrior bonded with a human. Some Valari protested, outraged. Others, especially civilians and soldiers tired of endless war, rose up, inspired by Alia's defiance. Rebellion kindled, and Aelia became a symbol, a warrior who chose peace and love over empire. Humans and Valari diplomats scrambled to control the narrative. Peace talks intensified. The threat of war loomed, but also a chance for a new alliance built not from politics, but from two hearts that refused to break. One night, Aelia stood with Evan on the habitat rooftop, watching twin moons rise. You changed the fate of two species, he teased. She nudged him playfully. We changed it. Together. He took her hand. No matter what happens next, I'm with you. She kissed him, fierce and certain. Bonded, she whispered. Forever. Stars glowed above them, witnesses to a love strong enough to shake empires. And far away, fleets prepared not for conquest, but for a future rewritten by a human and his alien bride. A love story that started as a transaction, and became a war for freedom. Aelia stood on the roof of the habitat dome, wind catching her silver hair like a banner of defiance. Her eyes tracked the horizon where Mars's reddish sky met the dark void of space. It had been weeks, Weeks since she chose Evan. Weeks since she declared a bond that shook the Valari Empire. Evan climbed up beside her, carrying 2 cups of steaming cocoa. He handed one to her. "You're thinking about them again," he guessed. Aelia nodded. "The Empire does not forget. And they do not forgive. I chose my heart over their pride." Evan leaned against her shoulder. "You chose right." She looked at him with tenderness that once would have been forbidden. "Humans changed me. You changed me. My people do not understand love without conquest. They never imagined I would choose a gentle heart over the blade." Before Evan could reply, Rusty barked from below, alert, protective. The first alarms came seconds later. Incoming warships. Dozens. Valari signatures. Alia's heart dropped. It has begun. Part 2, the ultimatum. The Martian Defense Council scrambled. The colony city of New Horizon prepared for evacuation. Fighters launched into crimson skies like sparks thrown against a tidal wave. Evan and Aelia were escorted to the command bunker. Holographic screens showed 3 massive Valari dreadnoughts descending, each the size of a city block. General Harper, a stern, battle-scarred leader, glared at Aelia. "Your people are threatening millions because of you." Aelia didn't flinch. "They are not my people any longer." A booming voice broke over the speakers, translated into English. "Aelia Voss. Traitor and exile. Present yourself, or this colony will fall." The commander of the Valari fleet appeared on the screen. He wore the crest of high nobility, Lord Kalis Voss. Alia's blood ran cold. "My father." Evan looked at her in shock. "That's your..." "Yes." Shame flickered through her expression. "He would rather see me dead than bonded to a human." Kalis continued. "Return. Submit to judgment. Humanity will be spared." General Harper crossed her arms. "Sounds like surrender." Aelia stepped forward. "It is a trap. The Empire does not spare. They enslave. They erase." Kalis's voice boomed again. 1 hour. Choose." The screen snapped to black. Silence fell. Evan reached for Alia's hand. "We'll face this together." She shook her head, tears burning. "No, they want me. You will die for my choice. I cannot allow that." Evan grabbed her shoulders. "You're not alone anymore. Let them come." She stared at him, torn between love and fear. Part 3, War Comes to Mars. The hour passed, fast, merciless. Valari ships deployed troops, armored giants landing like falling stars. The colony shook beneath explosions. Defense guns fired into the sky, but the Empire's power was overwhelming. Human soldiers fought with desperate bravery, but the Valari advanced, unstoppable. Amid smoke and chaos, Aelia stood tall, warform glowing like a small sun. She raised her voice, amplified across comm channels. "Valari warriors. Hear me, I am Aelia Voss, bonded to the human Evan Rhodes. I chose peace. Lay down your weapons." Some paused, uncertain, but elite forces pressed forward, blades drawn to silence her. Before they could strike, Evan fired a rail rifle, covering Alia's flank. "I've got you," he shouted. They fought back to back, a human gunsmith and a glowing alien warrior, 2 against an empire. Human pilots screamed across the sky, launching a counter-offensive. Tanks rolled, civilians fled, the colony burned. But something extraordinary happened. More Valari soldiers hesitated, and then refused their orders. A rumble of rebellion spread through the enemy ranks. Some knelt. Some turned their blades on the enforcers. The Empire had cracks deeper than anyone realized. Alia's choice ignited a revolution. But the storm wasn't over yet. Part 4, the farther the battlefield split as a royal guard landed, their armor darker, deadlier. At their center stood Kalis Voss, cape swirling like a black nebula. "Aelia," he thundered, "you shame our name. You shame the Valari. You bond with vermin." Evan raised his weapon. Kalis barely glanced before telekinetically ripping it from his grip and crushing it in the air. Aelia stepped protectively in front of Evan. "Do not insult what you cannot understand," she growled. Kalis ignited a plasma blade, crimson and furious. "Then enlighten me, daughter." They clashed. Their duel shook the ground, their blades sparking with cosmic energy. Kalis fought with flawless brutality, Aelia with desperate passion. "You were born for war." Kalis bellowed. "I was born for freedom," she answered. A strike knocked her to her knees, energy sparking from her armor. Kalis raised his blade to execute her. Evan threw himself between them. "If you want to kill her," he spat, "you go through me." Kalis paused, stunned by the human's madness. "You are fragile, breakable. So is every heart," Evan said. But we protect the ones we love. Kaelus's rage faltered, just for a moment. You love her, he said the word like it was alien. Yes, Evan said firmly. More than my life. Aelia, breath trembling, whispered, Evan. Kaelus looked between him, disbelief and fury warring in his eyes. You have corrupted her, he snarled. She was a blade. You turned her into a person, Evan interrupted. That broke the final thread of Kaelus's restraint. He swung, but Aelia, strength renewed by love, intercepted. She surged upward, forcing Kaelus back. You do not decide my destiny, she declared. Not anymore. In a final explosive clash of light, she shattered his blade, the symbol of his authority. Kaelus fell, defeated. Silence swept the battlefield as Valari soldiers watched their warlord kneel. Aelia lifted her voice. The Empire is not your master. You are more than weapons. Fight for your own hearts. One by one, Valari soldiers knelt. Then dozens. Then hundreds. A new allegiance formed, not to a throne, but to hope. Part 5, a future reborn Kaelus was taken into custody, not killed. Some wounds are better healed by justice than revenge. Valari defectors joined human forces to rebuild. The war ended not with annihilation, but transformation. Aelia became a bridge, diplomat, warrior of peace, symbol of unity. And Evan, he stayed by her side, always. Weeks later, a ceremony was held beneath Mars's twin moons. Humans and Valari attended, together. Aelia and Evan stood hand in hand before a crowd of thousands. Rusty sat proudly beside them, now a galactic hero, or at least he thought so. General Harper officiated. A bond that changed worlds, she said. May it continue to guide us. Evan slipped a ring onto Alia's finger, human tradition. Aelia placed a glowing mark over his heart, Valari tradition. Two cultures united, because two people dared to love. The crowd cheered. Aelia whispered into Evan's ear, we won. Evan smiled, brushing her cheek. No, he said softly. We started. Air kiss sealed a destiny rebuilt from ashes. Above them, the stars seemed just a little brighter, as if celebrating a new beginning.